afternoon and welcome to today's statewide webinar hosted by SpedTex and Partners Resource Network. My name is Sarah Untersey and I'm part of the SpedTex team. The topic for today's webinar is Parent-Directed Special Education Services, PDSES, $1,500 grant for parents of students served through special education. A few reminders. This webinar is being recorded and the recording will be posted to our SpedTex site. It usually takes about a week in order for that to be posted, but we will drop our website link in the chat so that you are able to access that once it becomes available. The chat feature is only available if you require technical assistance. However, you may put questions into the Q&A section, and the presenters will review your submissions, which will help us with clarifications and FAQs in the future. There will be no live Q&A today. SpedTex is the Special Education Information Center for Texas. We are a collaborative project between Region 10 Education Service Center and the Texas Education Agency. We help parents understand their rights and responsibilities under IDEA and facilitate collaboration when there are concerns between the parent and the school district. We also serve as a resource for educators. We offer support via phone, email, or live chat for families and professionals, webinars, and resources. Our contact information is on the screen. I'm now going to turn it over to Stephanie McLaughlin to share some additional information about Partners Resource Network.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Stephanie McLaughlin. I am the Training and Evaluation Specialist for Partners Resource Network. Partners Resource Network is the nonprofit agency that operates the Texas statewide network of parent training and information centers. We are funded through the Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs. Throughout Texas, there are 4 projects known as PACT, PATH, PIN, and TEAM. Our mission at Partners Resource Network is to empower and support Texas families and individuals impacted by disabilities or special healthcare needs. We do this through a network of highly skilled, regionally located coordinators who are knowledgeable in local policies, services, and resources, as well as state and national guidelines. Partners Resource Network provides training, information, and one-on-one assistance at no cost to Texas families and youth. We serve parents of children and youth with disabilities from birth to age 26, as well as youth self-advocates between the ages of 14 and 26.
Thanks, Stephanie. We're excited to welcome our presenter, Huck Spear. Huck is the Family Engagement and Outreach Coordinator for TEA's Office of Special Populations and Student Supports. Prior to this position, he spent nearly 20 years as a bilingual teacher in Central Texas public schools. He currently coordinates both the PDSES program and the School Family and Community Engagement Initiative, which includes overseeing SpedTex, the Special Education Information Center for families of students with disabilities. Huck is joined today by Katrina Mathis. Katrina is the PDSES program coordinator at Region 10 Education Service Center. At this time, I will stop sharing and I will turn it over to Huck.
Thank you so much. Let me get my screen going here, y'all. And can I get a thumbs up from somebody on my, yay, okay. Hi, y'all. Thank you very much for having me. It is so wonderful to be with you today. It's a sort of cold, dreary, rainy day where I am, and so it's nice and cozy to be with you. Also, thanks for this opportunity to show you about the PDSES program. Some of you may already know about this program. Some of you may have already used and received this grant or know somebody who has. And some of you may be hearing about this for the very first time today. Regardless, we hope our presentation is helpful, and we thank you very much for your time and attention and being with us today. As Sarah mentioned, I'm joined by my colleague, Katrina Mathis, who leads the PDSES team at the Education Service Center 10. And who is the grantee for the program and whose team provides the majority of its technical assistance. And I'm excited to have her show you about the PDSES shopping experience on the Class Wallet Marketplace in a little bit. But first, let me just go over our agenda. We're going to cover 5 main agenda items. I'm going to give a basic overview of the program, the grant, so what it is and who is eligible. I will go briefly over the program's history since it began in 2021. We will show you how to apply. We will spend some time, and this is where Katrina pops in, showing you about how to shop or the shopping experience on the PDSES Marketplace. And then we will answer some of the most frequently asked questions about the program. So let's begin with a basic program overview. So first of all, I want to mention that the program recently changed names. So the program used to be called SSES, which stood for Supplemental Special Education Services. And this past summer, the program updated its name to become Parent-Directed Special Education Services, or PDSES. The name was changed to better reflect the importance of parents as the decision makers in this educational process. Nothing else about the grant changed. It has the same rules, the same eligibility. It's just a new name. So what is PDSES? It's a grant program. It gives $1,500 spending accounts to the families of students receiving special education in Texas. So families are not given $1,500 in cash or in the form of a debit card. Instead, families are given access to a funded account in the online marketplace where they can spend this money to purchase educational goods such as books or computers or school supplies, or services also like tutoring or therapy or summer camps. So who is eligible? First off, I'll mention who must apply. So applications must be submitted by a student's parent, and that's defined by the state as a resident of the state who is a natural or adoptive parent, managing or possessory conservator, legal guardian, custodian, or other person with legal authority to act on behalf of the child. That's according to Texas Education Code 2941. Although the student's parent is the person who applies, eligibility is based on the student. So to be eligible for this $1,500 grant, the student must be enrolled in a Texas public school. This can be enrolled in any grade, pre-K all the way through 12th grade, and even including 18+ programs. They must be receiving special education services through an individualized education program or an IEP. And the last thing is it's a one-time only grant. So if the family already got this grant, used funds from this grant in the past, whether it was SSES or PDSES, they may not apply again. PDSES is a one-time only grant. And I will go over the history of this, but one of the big takeaways we hope you get from this presentation today is when that you can apply. I imagine many of you out there are interested in applying for this grant. So the program now uses an application window system. So this means the application is only open for 2 months each year. This school year's application opens on February 3rd and closes on March 31st of 2025. And I'll go over that, but you'll see that mentioned several times throughout this presentation. So let's take a quick look at the program's history. So we are going into the 5th year of this program. It officially began as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. In January of 2021, it launched. And at the very beginning, only students with significant cognitive disabilities were eligible for the grant. And so for the most part, these were students who were taking or scheduled to take the STAR Alt 2 exam, if you know what that is. This is a fairly small portion of the population of students served through special education. And so in October of 2021, a change in the eligibility criteria was made that allowed access to the program to the parents of all students served through special education. So since that change was made, the program experienced a lot of growth, sometimes painful growth, with a high demand, lots of applications. For some families meant spending a lot of time on a wait list. So this resulted in the program moving to use an application window system that I just mentioned before. So the PDSES application was closed for the first time earlier this spring in March. And going forward, like I mentioned, it will only be open for 2 months each year. Also on this slide is shown boxes of the number of accounts that have been awarded each year, and this is dependent entirely on the amount of funding the program had access to. So in the first year, we funded nearly 20,000 accounts. In year two, 46,000 roughly accounts were awarded. In year three, 62,000. And this year so far, we have awarded 35,000 accounts. So the success totals here are, to date, we have awarded 163,636 accounts to the families of eligible students. This represents roughly 20% of all the students who are eligible to receive this grant. So there are still many students to go to get to all students. Account holders have placed over, and Katrina's team has approved over 500,000 educational orders, purchased nearly 2.5 million educational items, and over 17,500 services for these students. And I think I speak for hopefully all of our team. I think I speak for the whole team when I say that one of the real joys in this work is that we get to work directly with families. We talk with and we hear from families every single day, and we do our best to help in all kinds of ways. Maybe a family has a question about how the program works generally, or maybe the family's got an account but is not sure how to spend the funds. Maybe the family needs help adding their student's tutor or therapist as a service provider. So we love working with families and have the pleasure of helping families every single day, which for me personally is the most satisfying, most fun, and most rewarding thing about this whole program. We have lots of testimonials and quotes and positive, good snippets like the one you see on the screen here. And there are more here that I'll share as well, but we have hundreds and hundreds. So we love working with families. We enjoy overall a 96% satisfaction rate from the families who take our survey. We know the program is not perfect. Many families have had to wait longer than they would like. There have been supply shortage issues, order issues, et cetera. There's always going to be things that we can improve, and we will always continue to work on improving them. But overall, we know this program is making a positive difference, because being a parent is hard, and it can be especially hard to be the parent of a student who is served through special education. And so it is very central to our program's mission from the very beginning, to be as helpful as possible to support families. So let's take a quick look at the application process. And forewarning, that the application is in the process of being built, and so we are not able to go ahead and walk through the actual application, but we hope it's built in such a way it will be very intuitive and easy. So I will show you these slides. Basically, there are 3 steps to the application process. There are, and then I'll go over a couple scenarios where some families may need to upload documentation. But there's preparing to apply, the things that you can do today. And then there will be, there's actually applying and submitting your application during the application window, and then how to check your status through the PDSES parent portal. So preparing to apply, there are a couple of things you can do today to prepare. And the first I will mention, and I will mention this several times throughout the presentation, you can create your own MySpedTex account if you don't already have one. So you will not be able to access the PDSES application anywhere other than through your MySpedTex account. So it's a good idea to go ahead and get yourself an account created as soon as possible. You will use your MySpedTex account to log into your PDSES parent portal and apply, but then it's good for other things as well. You can receive customized reminders for your student. You can volunteer to participate focus groups. You can locate resources that are tailored and curated to your needs. You can access training. So getting yourself familiar with spedtex.org and your own My SpedTex account is the number one thing that we want you to take away from this presentation in terms of getting ready to apply. So to create this, go to spedtex.org. It's on the screen there, and this will be shared. Click on the create account or sign in within the My SpedTex login button, and you simply complete the fields to create your own My SpedTex account. The other thing you can do is visit the PDSES website. So this is at pdses.tea.texas.gov. And this website is the best place to get any updated and current information about the program. You can also join the email list. And so below those cute little characters on the screen, it says join the email list. This is through the website, and this is a list where you can sign up to get reminders about the program, including, the week the application opens, we will send you an email to remind you. So step 2, and this is only after the window opens. Again, it opens at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on February 3rd, 2025. Once the application opens, you can log into your My SpedTex account, click on your PDSES parent portal, and this will gain you access to the portal to complete the application. You'll have to add your parent contact information. You'll click on the Add Student button. And one thing to note, the hardest part, or we hope the hardest part, can be identifying your student. It will be necessary to find your student's 10-digit unique ID number or UID number. The application has a student lookup feature where you can enter information to retrieve this number, or you can contact your child's school for this number, but every application must be linked to a UID number. So that is something you can also do to prepare, is to make sure you have access to that number. You will not be able to apply without it. So for most families, the last step is to simply click apply. You'll have to sign some agreements saying you are who you say you are, and so on and so forth. For some families, and I'll talk about this in a minute, there will be an additional step of uploading some documentation, and I'll speak about this in a minute. And then the last thing, and one of the great things about the PDSES parent portal, is that you will be able to log back in and check your status at any time. So after you submit your application, we ask that you please remain patient. It's going to take our team some time to process all the applications and provide award decisions. Applications will be processed in the order they were received, but the team has to cross-reference the eligibility of each student UID using state records. You will receive an email each time your application status changes, but you can also just log back into your PDSES parent portal and check your status at any time. You can also, for example, the parent portal is good if, excuse me, if you need to upload documentation, that's where you will do it. Or I will mention if by chance you get a notification that your student is not eligible and you wish to appeal, you will also appeal through the parent portal. So I want to spend a quick minute here to talk about the uploading documentation feature of the parent portal. And again, I want to stress that this is not for most people who apply. For most applicants, state data will determine a student's eligibility, and there is no need to take any extra step of uploading documentation. However, because of a lag in the collection schedule, state data may not show eligibility for some students, and these are students who only recently became eligible for the grant. Again, to be eligible for PDSES, a student must be enrolled in a Texas public school and receiving special education services. So the key date is October 1st of the current school year. If a student, let's say, had their initial ARD committee meeting after October 1st, or enrolled in school after October 1st, but is receiving special education services, we recommend for these parents that they use the add attachment feature in the portal to provide The instructions for what we need and how to do so will be provided, but those parents are recommended to add attaching documentation to help us confirm your student's eligibility so that you do not receive a denial notification incorrectly. You can add this documentation at the time that you apply, or if you don't have access to it at that moment, you can apply and then log back in later and add it, upload it anytime before the application window closes. So after you apply, after you submit your application, and the application window closes on March 30th at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, TEA will determine your student's eligibility. Again, please remain patient. And TEA will reach out to you with your award decision. So if your student is determined to be eligible and funded, an account will be created for you, and you will receive, at that point, it moves over to the marketplace experience. So you'll receive an email from the PDSES marketplace vendor called Class Wallet, and Katrina is about to show you about that, with instructions on how to log in and use your $1,500 of PDSES funds. Before I turn it over to Katrina, though, I do want to mention two important notes. For families who receive PDSES funds, there are two musts that those families must do. So one, there's a 30-day activation requirement. So parents who receive the email saying you are awarded funds from the marketplace must log in and activate their account within 30 days of receiving their award notice email from Class Wallet, or funds will be returned to the state. So heads up on that. The other is that there's a purse deadline for each spending account, and it's posted. Each one is different by batches. So can't tell you what the deadline is because it depends on each batch, but each purse has a deadline and all funds must be spent before that deadline ends. Any funds that are not spent will be returned to the state. So those two caveats I want to just mention so that families are aware that those exist. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Katrina, who's going to show you about the shopping experience in the PDSES marketplace called Class Wallet.
Thank you, Huck. So once a PDSES account has been awarded, the family will receive access to the PDSES marketplace that Huck already shared with you as Class Wallet. Let's take a look at how you, as the parents, can spend the funds for your eligible student. The PDSES program distributes the funds through Class Wallet. Students who qualify are given a Class Wallet account with $1,500. Parents can follow the steps provided in the Class Wallet welcome email to access this account to buy educational resources and services from approved vendors and providers directly on that Class Wallet platform. Parents have access to more than 70 vendors on the Class Wallet marketplace, providing a variety of educational and therapeutic products. For technology items like computers, tablets, and printers, families can check out stores like Apple for Families, Best Buy, Staples, and Office Depot. For those seeking sensory items, they can find a variety of options at stores like Fun and Function, School Outfitters, and the Sensory site. For educational resources like math manipulatives and reading programs, stores like Lakeshore Learning and Buddy Books are great options. The marketplace is stocked with resources to support learning at home and complement what's being taught at school. We could definitely help you find what your kiddos need. This slide gives an idea of our most commonly purchased items put into categories. Many families create a dedicated study space at home, adding items like a desk, chair, monitor, and a computer to help their student focus. For students with sensory needs, parents can purchase weighted items, fidgets, and adapted seating for added support. Families have shared how beneficial it has been to have these materials right there available to their student at home to reinforce the learning that's going on at school. The PDSES program has purchasing guidelines. All items must provide a direct educational benefit to the student. In addition, there are some restrictions on quantity and price for certain items. Our PDSES team reviews each order to ensure these guidelines are followed, and if an order doesn't comply, it will be rejected, and the parents will receive an email explaining the reason for that rejection. This slide gives an idea of the types of items that are most commonly rejected by category. The PDSES team is always happy to work with the parents to find alternative items that will meet the guidelines and be beneficial to the student. That's one of our most favorite things to do. PDSES families across the state have a wide range of options for using funds on services. We offer providers that can meet the educational and therapeutic needs of our families, including tutoring, counseling, camps, and therapies such as ABA, speech, and dyslexia. Please remember that PDSES funds are strictly for services provided directly to the student. They cannot be used for assessments, evaluations, legal services, daycare, late or cancellation fees, or advocacy services. Parents can use the service provider map to find approved providers and verify if their current provider is listed. If a student is receiving services from a provider not yet on the PDSES marketplace, our team can help assist with that approval process. For parents looking to start services like tutoring or therapy, the map can help find approved providers near their home. It can be searched by type, category, city, or zip code. Each account has a spending deadline. Huck already referred to that as your purse date. We encourage families to begin using their funds for services as soon as they are awarded so they have enough time to spend all funds. However, if more time is needed to complete spending on services, parents can work with the team to request an extension. Now we're going to take some time to review some of the most frequently asked questions that parents have about the PDSES program. Huck, are you ready for the first question?
Oops, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize.
Mm,
Yes, I am ready. I promise I'm ready.
All right. So the first question is, do I need my SpedTex account to apply?
Yes, again, this is one of the main things we hope you take away from this, especially those of you who are wanting to apply for your student. You need a MySpedTex account because the PDSES application can only be completed online through your MySpedTex account. And if you do not already have a MySpedTex account, and you can find that by going to spedtex.org again, you will need to create one before you can access the PDSES parent portal and apply. So the system is compatible with mobile devices, but it is also recommended, if possible, to use a computer or a tablet to complete the application. Also remember, the PDSES parent portal will not be open until the window opens, but you can go ahead and create a MySpedTex account today.
All right, I have a few questions about eligibility. Do students who attend private school qualify? And what about students served in 504?
Great questions. The answer to both of these questions is no. Students enrolled in private school do not qualify for PDSES, as the program is only available to students attending a Texas public school or open enrollment charter school. Additionally, students who are enrolled in a private school but receive special education services through something called proportionate share are also not eligible for the PDSES program. Now, as for students served under Section 504, they do not qualify for the PDSES program as they are not served through special education. So the rule is students must be currently enrolled in a Texas public school. It can be a school district or open enrollment charter school who are served under an individualized education program, IEP, in a special education program.
So what about students that are in the process of being evaluated for special education when that application opens?
Great question. So as you may know, the process of identifying and evaluating a student for special education can take some time. So some families may hear about the PDSES program or the application during that process while the student is being evaluated. And so we get this question, can I go ahead and apply? And the answer is no. Before you can apply for the PDSES program, families you must wait to complete the evaluation process, conduct the student's initial admission review and dismissal or ARD committee meeting to determine eligibility to receive special education services and develop the IEP. That meeting needs to happen first. So if the application window closes before that meeting occurs and the student is still being evaluated, these families should wait until the next year's application window to apply.
I've applied. My student was found eligible for the PDSES grant, but I received an award decision email saying waited to be funded. What does this mean and what happens next?
Thank you for this question. So this is a scenario where, again, you've submitted the application, you've waited to get news that, hey, your student is eligible for this grant. We hope that you don't get this message, but what happens sometimes is if the program is so popular and we have so many applications that there are more eligible applications than we have funds. And so those applications are placed on a wait list according to the order in which the application was submitted. So if your award decision email says waiting to be funded, this means that your student is eligible for the program, but that you will need to wait until additional funds are secured before you receive your account. Again, parents can log back into their parent portal at any time to check their status.
All right, Huck, what if a parent receives an award decision that says your student is not eligible for the PDSES program, but the parent believes that the student is eligible? What should they do?
So if your award decision email that you receive, or if you log into your parent portal, it says that you're not eligible, but that's incorrect, because your student is enrolled in a Texas public school and was being served by special education at the time you submitted your application. We recommend you complete the appeal process. And I mentioned that briefly earlier, but you will do this by logging into your PDSES parent portal and clicking on the appeal button next to your student, and you will follow the instructions that are given there. You will have to upload documentation to complete this process so that we can confirm eligibility. And again, your student's IEP must show that your student began receiving special education services on or before the day that you submitted your application. So again, if you applied for a student and then a week later that student started receiving special education services, that student will not be eligible. That your student must be eligible for the grant at the time that you submit your application.
Thank you for that clarification there.
Okay, I have a couple of questions for you, Katrina.
Okay.
So about the marketplace, once a Class Wallet account is awarded, so a family's eligible and they're funded and their account is awarded, is there a time limit to log in or an activation requirement?
Yes. So after being awarded that PDSES account, parents must complete the activation requirement within 30 days of receiving their account email from Class Wallet. So to complete that activation requirements, they must log into their account using the email that they used when they applied with, or that they used to apply, and agree to the PDSES parental acknowledgement and agreement for each of their awarded students. Sometimes we refer to that acknowledgement as the affidavit, and that has to be accepted for every student that they applied for. Parents will receive many reminders from our team and the Class Wallet about that activation requirement.
Thank you. Next question. Can parents, let's say a parent buys a good or service with their own money, can they be reimbursed for any goods or services that the parent purchases not with PDSES funds, but with their own funds? Can PDSES funds reimburse them for those?
No, the PDSES program does not allow reimbursements for goods or services. Parents can only use their funds in the online class wallet account to purchase goods and services from PDSES approved providers and vendors. If there's something that a parent can't find in the marketplace, we encourage them to reach out to us so that our team can assist them in finding that item.
Speaking of your team assisting folks, let's say a family needs help at any time, at any moment, for any reason really in this process. How can a family get help?
Well, we have lots of teams that are available to help parents with any step of this process. The PDSES team is available to assist parents throughout the process with all sorts of things. We can assist with answering general questions about the application, again, finding or adding a service provider, or ordering from a direct pay vendor if there's an item that they haven't found in the online marketplace. Once they have their Class Wallet account, Class Wallet is the best source of help for things like finding a status of an order that has been placed, helping accessing their account, or if an address needs to be changed, Class Wallet is going to be the one that can do that. We also have sped techs that are a great help to our families. Any general questions about special education or help with creating a My Sped Techs account, you can contact sped techs by emailing inquire@spedtechs.org, visiting the sped techs website to chat online with a consultant, or you can give them a call at 1-855-773-3839. And we wanted to share their contact information with you again. If you have any questions about special education, please contact sped techs. They're your source for special education information, and they are happy to help. And their information is here on the screen.
So I want to leave you just with one final blast about some things that action steps you can take today for those of you who want to apply. So go to spedtechs.org and create a My Sped Techs account is number one. Number two, visit the PDSES website at pdses.tea.texas.gov to learn more about the program. And at that same website, number three, you can join that email list to receive reminders and updates about the program. So with that, I want to thank you all very much for your time and for your attention and for spending this time with us today. And I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, Huck and Katrina, for being here today. And thank you for sharing all of that valuable information with us. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for your time today. We are going to go back to Stephanie McLaughlin to share some additional information about Partners Resource Network.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Huck and Katrina, for all that information. Please be sure and reach out to us if you have any questions. We're happy to assist you. And check out our website at prntexas.org, where you will find information about upcoming events in your local area, as well as wealth of information to support you as the parent. And like and follow us on social media on Facebook at PRN Texas for information about upcoming webinars and events. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Stephanie. Have questions about special education? Contact us at SpedTechs, your source for special education information. We are happy to help. Our contact information is on the screen.